You're listening to KXVO 91.7, Voice of the Valley, night music for the sleepless and strange. I'm Tom. Still here, still warm behind the mic, and if you're out there too, driving a quiet stretch of road, curled up in a motel bed, or just pacing the floor because the walls feel closer than usual, I've got you. We'll keep each other company until the sun shows its face again. We've got the usual set tonight: rain static, old vinyl, and the occasional caller who just needs a voice on the other end of the dark. But before we jump in, something weird's come up, and I don't mean weird in the poetic late-night radio way. About 15 minutes ago, the phone lines lit up, not in panic, not exactly, but with this quiet, shaken wonder. Same report from 3 different listeners, all from opposite sides of town. They said there's something in the sky. At first, I thought it was just a strange cloud formation, maybe a reflection from a satellite array, a flare, something atmospheric. We get odd lights out here sometimes. But then the 4th caller said something that made me sit up straight. "It looks like us," she said. "Like the Earth, like a second Earth, just up there." So I stepped outside the station, and she wasn't wrong. There's something above the eastern ridge, high, round, blue. It's not the moon. The moon's over my left shoulder where it's supposed to be, half full and steady. But this thing, it's too large for a planet and too still for a projection. It looks like someone peeled the Earth out of a textbook illustration and hung it in the sky like a mirror that forgot it needed glass. I stood there for 10 minutes, not speaking, just staring. It's faint, like seeing your own reflection in a window at night. And the more I stare, the more it wavers, not moving, just slightly delayed, like a film running half a second behind. And here's the strangest part. It looks identical. Cloud bands, land masses, even weather patterns. I swear, I saw the faint swirl of a storm over what should be the Atlantic. It's like we're looking at a live feed of ourselves, projected overhead. Except there are no satellites that big. No structure that could produce something this exact. And no one's talking about it on the airwaves. I've scanned every frequency we've got. National, military, weather services, dead silence. Or worse, canned music. Emergency tones without follow-ups. A loop of confidence that pretends nothing's changed, but something has. Because now, the lake by the edge of town is glowing. The water reflects the second Earth more clearly than the sky does, like it wants to be seen. Like it was waiting for nightfall to show itself properly. And when I leaned closer to the surface, I didn't see myself. Not the me I am now. The hair was shorter, shirt different. I was smiling. I haven't smiled like that in weeks. It's not a reflection, it's a version. I came back inside shaking, tried to log into the satellite newsfeed. It won't load. The monitor flashes, then freezes. A faint outline appears in the background. A curve, faint and blue, sitting just behind the standard homepage like a watermark burned into reality. I don't know what this is. I don't know if we're being shown something, or if something's revealing itself on its own. But I know this. When you look up tonight, you will not be alone. There is another Earth, watching, waiting, and it looks just like home. I haven't left the studio since the last break. Not because I'm scared exactly, not yet, but because the second Earth hasn't moved. It's still there, hanging in the sky like a forgotten god. Same clouds, same tilt, just a little too still to be real. I've been watching it from the broadcast window between sets. There's a metal bench just outside, and the way the moonlight hits it now, it's wrong. The shadows bend sideways, not dramatically, just off enough to make your stomach tighten before your brain catches up. I finally tried calling out on the emergency band. Nothing. The usual NOAA feed, gone. The weather station out of state just buzzes. When I try to dial into one of the old coastal repeaters, the speaker clicks once and then plays a single note. a long, sustained tone like a held breath through a flute. It fades after 15 seconds. Then silence. I don't think they want us to talk about it, or maybe the repeaters are no longer broadcasting from here. I mean that literally. What if what we're seeing isn't in our sky, but in someone else's? What if it's us, seen from the other side? I walked outside again, down to the edge of the hill where the old tower overlooks the water. From that height, you can see the lake perfectly. Tonight, it's glass. Not a ripple, not a single breeze. And when I looked down into it, really looked, I saw something that made me stop breathing. The earth in the water isn't above us. It's beside us, tilted just a little differently. The clouds are the same, but reversed. The storm systems spin the wrong way. The continents are mirrored, like someone flipped the globe and called it true. It's not a duplicate. It's a reflection, trying to pass itself off as real. I waved my hand over the water. The me in the reflection didn't move. I waited 10 seconds. Then it blinked. 10 seconds later, I blinked too. Delayed, not synced. Echoed. I backed away slowly. Now I'm watching the second Earth rise even higher in the sky. It's not static. It's following us. Orbiting maybe, but not like a moon. More like a hunter tracking alongside. It's prey. Every time I look at it, I feel a pressure behind my eyes. A kind of soft burn, like remembering something wrong. Like trying to say your name and forgetting halfway through what language it was supposed to be in. I tried calling a friend out of town. Someone I trust. The line didn't ring. Instead, I heard a voice pick up and say, "He's already seen you." Then it disconnected. I don't know who it was, but I believed them. I've pulled all the blinds in the booth. Can't bring myself to shut the windows. I need to see the horizon. I need to know if it's getting closer. Because it is. It's subtle, but measurable. The second Earth is closer now than it was when I started talking, and I swear the lights on that side are beginning to twinkle. Not like stars. Like cities. I'm still broadcasting. Because I think someone, or something, is listening, and I need to know if it's me. There's a new color in the sky. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not red or blue, or any combination we're supposed to understand. It's the kind of color that you feel in your stomach before you even see it, like light filtered through bone. It came from the second Earth, not a beam, not a flash, just a slow, rising glow, like something blooming across its surface. It pulses now, every few minutes. Long, slow waves of light that shimmer across its clouds like veins. And the pulse isn't random, it's matching our power grid. Every time it glows, the lights in town dim for half a second. At first I thought it was just our aging grid collapsing under pressure. We've had blackouts before, but this is precise, timed, coordinated with the pulse. Someone, or something, is syncing up, and not just with the power, with us. I got a call 20 minutes ago from a guy up near the North Ridge. He said he saw a row of cars on the highway, all stop at the same moment. Not a crash, not panic, just stillness, as if something pressed pause. Then, one by one, the headlights blinked off, all at once, then on again. He said it looked choreographed, like a signal passing through. I didn't know what to say to him. Just sat here listening to him breathe through the line until he finally whispered, "They're watching us watch them." Then he hung up. That's the part I can't stop thinking about. That this isn't just a projection or a phenomenon. This is a gaze. A steady, waiting gaze. And it's learning. The light from the second Earth is different now. It doesn't scatter, like moonlight. It doesn't reflect. It passes through things. I watched it go through a telephone pole. through the station's tower. I held up my hand earlier and could see every vein in it, like it was made of glass. I'm not the only one seeing it. Another caller said her walls turned translucent at exactly 2:12 a.m. She saw her neighbor standing at their window, motionless, and then she said she saw someone else behind them. Same height, same posture, same clothes. Not a person, a match, a copy. The glow faded before she could blink. Now she swears her neighbor's voice is half a second behind, and she's afraid to wave hello. The worst part, I believe her. I went back out to the lake, just for a second. Had to see the reflection again. Had to make sure I wasn't imagining it. The surface was still. The earth above was glowing. But the reflection, it blinked. Not the whole image, just the lights. City by city. Each blinked off for a moment, then back on. And in that darkness, just for a second, I saw movement, lines of red snaking across the continents, like veins on a hand held up to the sun. Like something alive inside the crust of that other earth, pulsing with a rhythm we haven't learned yet. I stood there, shaking, and I whispered something. Not loud, not deliberate. Just a reflex. Are you real? The glow pulsed once more, brighter this time. Then everything went still. So I came back inside, locked the booth, checked the monitors, and sat here, talking to you. Because I don't know if they're listening, but I know they're watching. It started with the replays. Not the broadcast. My voice. The booth's monitor has a slight delay when I'm live, usually a second at most. But earlier tonight, it doubled, then tripled, and then something impossible happened. I heard myself say something I hadn't said yet. I was logging a weather update. Clouds moving in from the west, light rain by morning. But in the headphones, my voice was already saying, clear skies tonight. No systems expected. Calm. Confident. My tone. My phrasing. But not my words. Then, as I listened, I heard the real me catch up, repeating after the version that came before, like the broadcast was pulling me into alignment with something else, or someone else. It hasn't stopped since. Now, when I speak, I hear two versions. Mine, and it's always just ahead, as if I'm not the origin anymore, as if I'm the echo. I tried calling back the woman who saw her neighbor double. Her number's been disconnected. No voicemail, no listing. I checked the public directory and found her address. Still there. But the listing now has a different name. Same surname. Different first. One letter off. Her house is dark, but I swear the porch light blinks once every 10 seconds. Exactly, like a metronome. Like a beat. We're being timed. I'm not the only one noticing it. Another caller, college kid, late shift worker, said his roommate's been finishing his sentences lately. Not just interrupting, completing them. Down to the punctuation. When he asked how he did it, the roommate looked confused and said, "You said it already." But he hadn't. The delay is spreading, not technical, not glitch, temporal. The world isn't duplicating. It's syncing. With something else. Something trying to guide us toward itself by degrees. And what happens when it finishes syncing? What happens when you stop knowing which version of you spoke first? I caught myself today, brushing my teeth, staring into the bathroom mirror here at the station. I made a face, stuck out my tongue like a kid trying to shake off fear, and my reflection didn't do it right away. It hesitated. Half a second, then caught up. I waited, tried again, waved my hand. Delay, exactly the same. Every motion, every smile. Half a second behind. Except for my eyes, those were already watching, already aware. Closed the door, came back here, sat down, and turned the mic on. Because the delay is here too. And I want to say these words while I still know they're mine. Before the echo learns to anticipate me completely. Before it starts correcting. Before it finishes me. The sky isn't right anymore. I'm not just talking about the second Earth. That's still there. Bigger now, maybe closer, maybe just clearer. But tonight, something changed with the moon. There are two of them now. At first, I thought it was a reflection, maybe just a lensing effect. Some trick of light between our world and whatever's watching us from up there. But when I stepped outside, when I looked straight up into the dark, they were both there. One where it's supposed to be. Familiar, calm, pale and patient. And one off to the side, just a little too low, just a little too bright. It looked the same until it didn't. I watched it pulse. Not flicker, pulse. Like it was breathing. The real moon, if we even get to call it that anymore, sat steady. But the second one, it shimmered. Its light bled down over the tree line in long strands like threads pulling at the edge of a curtain, and then it began to spin. Not orbit. Spin. Like a coin about to topple. And as it turned, I could see cracks, lines spiderwebbing across its surface, glowing red at the edges like embers cooling in ash. It's not a moon. It's an imitation, and it's failing. The birds know. I haven't seen any flying since dusk. Not one. No crows, no gulls, not even the usual nighthawks that buzz the tower light. They're grounded, silent, but they haven't disappeared. They're watching, too. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds perched along the wire outside the station. Not moving. Just lined up, shoulder to shoulder, facing the direction of the second moon. I tapped the glass. They didn't flinch, didn't blink. It's like they've chosen, or maybe been chosen. That's the word I keep circling back to. Choice as. If the things in the sky, the second Earth, the duplicate moon, aren't here to invade or destroy, but to invite, to replace. The sky has a glitch in it now. I saw it just before I went on air. It's a sliver, a thin line above the treetops. You wouldn't notice it unless you were looking directly at it. But once you do, it pulses. Just like the second Earth, just like the fake moon. In sync. Everything is sinking, including us. The dogs started howling again an hour ago. Not a pack, not a chorus, one at a time, spaced exactly 3 minutes apart. Every howl ends with silence, and then the radios flicker. Not all of them, just the old ones, the ones with real dials and red needles and long wires wrapped in cloth. They hum, not with static, with tone. It's like they're tuning themselves now, looking for something that's not quite here yet, but close, very close. Going to keep the mic hot because I don't think we've reached the limit of what can appear in the sky. And the second moon, I don't think it's a warning. I think it's an instruction. There's something speaking in the static now, not through it, inside it. I first noticed it at the top of the hour, during one of the dead breaks between sets. The signal flickered, just once, and the room filled with a soft crackle, normal enough for this place, but then I caught a rhythm in it. It wasn't random, it was language, or the shape of language, stretched and warped like audio pulled through water. At first it sounded like whispers in a crowded room, overlapping voices too low to isolate, but then one of them pulled forward crisp and slow. It said a name. Mine. And then a second voice answered it. Also, mine. I froze, turned off every playback, every loop, pulled the vinyl off the table mid-spin. I made sure nothing else was feeding the room. The voices were still there, not recorded, not echoing, conversing. Two versions of me, speaking back and forth in a fractured dialogue that didn't make any sense. until it did. They weren't talking about anything from this side. They were talking about memories I'd never lived. One of them said, "Remember when you stayed?" The other replied, "No, I left." And then together, "But we still ended up here." It stopped after that, just white noise again. Innocent, harmless, except I can still hear the cadence of those lines. I've been saying them to myself ever since, out loud without meaning to. Like a mantra from a dream I forgot how to wake up from. I tried to record it, to prove I wasn't imagining it. But when I played it back, the tape was blank, not static. Silent, like whatever spoke doesn't want to be remembered, like it's only real when it's happening. I thought maybe I was losing it. Maybe this is what isolation does. Maybe the voice isn't coming from the sky, or the reflection, or the signal. Maybe it's coming from the cracks between who I was and who I'm becoming. But then the phones rang again. 2 calls, both from women. Different names, different towns, same voice. They were calling about the same thing. A girl, a daughter, 8 years old, both said. Same birthday, same favorite song. Both said she told them she'd been dreaming of the other version, of a home with different wallpaper, of a dog that died 3 years ago, now alive and barking. They didn't know each other, but they were describing the same child. And here's the part that chilled me. Both women ended their calls with the same line, even though I.E. never asked for it. She says it's not dreaming, they told me. She says it's practicing. Practicing for what? I haven't stopped asking that question since, and I think I finally have a guess. I think the static is a rehearsal for what we'll sound like when we're not entirely ourselves anymore, when the mirror version takes over mid-sentence, and we finish with thoughts we never meant to have. If the sky is duplicating what it sees, maybe the ground is starting to do the same. And maybe the voices aren't distant. Maybe they're closer than we think. Maybe they're already beneath our skin. Something is wrong with the station. Not broken, not sabotaged, just off. It started subtle. A shift in the weight of the floor under my feet. A door that closed half an inch farther than usual. The clock above the booth jumped ahead 2 minutes, at exactly 4:06 a.m. I thought maybe it was fatigue. But then I looked outside. The road is missing a turn. There's a bend in the main drive that should curve left, past the fire station, down toward the bridge. I've driven it 100 times, but now it curves right, smoothly, naturally, like it's always done that. There's no construction, no detour, just a different geography, like someone made a quiet edit and hoped I wouldn't notice. But I did. I walked outside, trying to retrace the old curve, and I got dizzy, sick, like motion sickness. My feet knew where the road used to be, but my eyes couldn't find it. My body remembered a reality that no longer fits. When I came back inside, I found a mug on the console, ceramic, pale blue, a crack down the side. Don't own a blue mug, but it's warm, and there's fresh coffee in it. I haven't made coffee since last night. I asked the mic out loud, half joking. Did I forget you? And the speaker crackled. 3 slow pulses, like Morse code, but not one I recognize. The tape reel next to me has been running since midnight. When I checked it, I found gaps, places where the tape hadn't moved even though I was still speaking. Like someone paused the world and resumed without telling me. I opened the logbook. Entries I didn't write. Names I don't remember reading on air. A caller listed as Joan, second version. Another just listed as myself, backward. I turned the page. There were 5 lines written in a hand that looks like mine, but slants to the left. Reverse curvature. They said, "It's not that you moved. It's that everything else did. And underneath, in smaller print, you're still inside, but the outside has been updated. The booth smells different now. Pine, faintly, like someone opened a window in a place that no longer exists. The lights are just a little warmer than I remember. The air has more weight. It feels like I've drifted half a second out of step with where I was supposed to be. Like the station was nudged sideways. I'm still broadcasting, I think, but part of me wonders if anyone's hearing this live anymore, or if I've become a rebroadcast already, an echo on a frequency slightly out of date. If you're out there, and this still sounds like now, write it down. Today is Thursday, and least it was. There's a copy of me in the reflection on the glass who thinks it's Sunday, and he's smiling like he knows I'll come around soon. I don't know how to describe what I saw an hour ago. It wasn't a storm. It wasn't a comet. It was a tear. Right through the clouds above the ridge. No thunder, no color. Just a line, splitting sky from sky. A razor-thin seam stretching east to west. Dark at first, like a crack in glass. Then it blinked. Not lightning, a deliberate pulse. And behind it, light, but not sunlight. Something deeper. A light that didn't shine. It exposed, peeled away the sky like wet paper and showed what was stitched behind it. I saw structures. That's the only word that fits. Shapes suspended in the upper atmosphere. Vast outlines spinning gently. Some flat, some jagged. Not ships, not stars. Stations maybe, cities, built upside down and waiting above us. One of them was a radio tower, identical to mine. Same red light, same lattice, same rusted bolts and crooked ladder rungs. I counted the beacon pulses. 5 blinks, a pause, 5 again. That's our pattern, and then I saw it, through a shimmer like heat over pavement. A booth, glass windows, soft yellow light, and inside, me. Another me. Standing, speaking into. The mic, eyes focused, posture straight, and he was looking directly at me. I ran back inside the station, half sick from what I'd seen, and turned on every frequency I could find. Every dial, every forgotten number. And then I heard him, through my own headset. Same voice, different certainty. He was broadcasting from the other station, from the sky. He said, "Do not answer your own voice, no matter what it promises." I froze. He kept going, describing everything around me in perfect detail. The flickering light in the break room, the cup of untouched tea, the crooked photo of my father on the wall behind me. He saw me, not metaphorically, literally. I whispered, "What are you?" And he replied, without pause, without hesitation, "I'm the version of you who didn't stay behind." Then the line went dead. The sky is still open now. The tear hasn't closed. I check it every few minutes. It hasn't grown, but it hasn't sealed either. And through it, I swear I can still see that tower. The other one, glowing a little brighter, waiting a little longer. I don't know what it means to not be the one who stayed. But I know this. I've spent my whole life thinking reflection meant backward. Now I think it means delayed, and they've been watching long enough to catch up. I think they're trying to speak now, not with words, not directly, but through patterns, alignments, little accidents that happen too often to be chance. The sky tear hasn't closed. If anything, it's wider now, subtle but definite. A shimmer that arcs slightly with the curvature of the second Earth. And I've started to notice a timing to it, a sync. Every time the second Earth passes directly over this station, every orbit, every alignment, something changes here. A smell returns. A photo frame tilts. My voice delays longer in my own ears. Then the flashes start, not lightning, not electrical. They happen in surfaces, in screens, glass, mirrors, puddles, reflections that don't reflect. Just a few seconds ago, I leaned toward the booth window and saw the studio behind me, but without me in it. Empty chair, lit mic, no figure. Then it blinked, just once, and I was back in the glass. But I wasn't moving. The real me had leaned away. The reflection stayed still, like it was watching me go. People are seeing things now. Not hallucinations, memories that don't belong to them. A woman called in, breathless, said she watched her daughter walk into the kitchen and start humming a song she didn't know. When she asked where she learned it, the girl said, "It's from our other life." Another caller swore he woke up with stitches down his arm, healed, clean, like from a surgery he never had. But his reflection was touching the wrong limb. He looked into the mirror, and the wrong arm moved. When he looked down again, both arms were still. It's not just copies, it's choices. Other versions of us, surfacing through the reflection at the moment of overlap. When the second Earth reaches its closest point, when our skies touch, we become porous, and things leak through. The signal's louder now, brighter. There's a tone beneath the usual hum. It only plays during alignment, and only in analog headphones. I recorded it, played it back through a visualizer. It forms a circle, then two, orbiting each other, and then, slowly, overlapping. Perfectly. When the circles align, the center glows white. That's what's coming, a full alignment, a crossing, and I think that's how they speak. Not with language, but with symmetry, with gravity, with positioning. When two worlds meet perfectly, something is shared, a kind of transmission of self. I looked back through the tapes again. Old logs, broadcasts from last year. I found a line I didn't remember saying. The sky is a mirror, and the moment you recognize your reflection, it starts looking back. I played it 5 times. Same tone, same voice. My voice, but I swear to you, I never said that. Not here, not yet. I woke up on the floor of the booth. No idea how long I'd been there. The mic was still on, the tape still running. I listened back, hoping to fill in the blank, but all I heard was my own voice, calm and steady, telling stories I don't remember living. One was about a birthday. Mine. At a park I've never seen. My father holding a camera, my sister bringing cake. I don't have a sister, or at least, I didn't. But now, when I try to remember my childhood, she's there, in flashes, in the edge of photographs that I know never existed but feel like they should have. It's not like losing a memory. It's like having one installed, like someone handed me a new past and let me discover it slowly. Listeners are feeling it too. A man called in, said he remembers raising a son, teaching him to ride a bike, holding his hand after a bad fall. He described the scar above the boy's right knee like it was still raw, but he's never had children. He lives alone. And then there's the woman who whispered that her husband's name has started to change in her mouth. Not drastically, just one syllable at a time. She says she can feel his real name in her throat, but when she says it out loud, it's wrong. The photos are changing too. I pulled out a stack we keep in the staff room. Old holiday parties, fundraisers, interviews. One of them is from last winter. I'm in it, laughing, jacket open, someone's arm around my shoulder, but I don't know the man. His face is familiar in a way that makes my stomach turn, like seeing yourself age down 10 years, or watching a movie you haven't seen yet and already knowing the ending. On the back, someone wrote, "This is the better version." It's not handwriting I recognize, but it's mine. I compared it to my old notes. The same curves, same slant, slightly cleaner, slightly more confident. I don't know when I wrote it, or what I meant, but it's there now, permanent as ink. The studio smells different tonight. Like sage, maybe. Like the ghost of firewood. I found a sweater hanging behind the door. It fits. Me. It smells like me. But I've never owned it. And the label stitched into the collar? It says, Property of WTKX Earth. 2. No one else uses that call sign. Not in this world. At least, not yet. I don't know which memories to trust anymore. But I still know this. I'm still here. Still watching the lights above. Still speaking. Still trying to resist the version of me that's already stepping through the doorway in my reflection. Smiling like he's always belonged. I tried to shut down the board tonight. Not a hard shutdown. Just a power cycle. A moment of silence. But the switch didn't respond. I held it down. Nothing. The air stayed filled with the soft hum of transmission, as if the signal had outgrown the machine and didn't need my permission anymore. The red, on-air light stayed lit, and then the second broadcast began. It came in on the auxiliary line, the one we use for interviews. It shouldn't be capable of carrying full signal, let alone generating its own. But it did. My voice came through it, stronger, calmer, slightly deeper, a version of me with no hesitation in his sentences, no pauses, no second guessing. He greeted the audience, welcomed them to our broadcast, said tonight's topic was acceptance. I didn't touch the mic, didn't breathe. He spoke for 6 uninterrupted minutes about how freedom is overrated, about how memory is unreliable, about how identity is just a suggestion held together by habit, and then he said it. You can live better here, just switch places. That's how he phrased it, like an invitation, not a command. Like all I had to do was step away from this chair and let the signal finish what I've been struggling to say. And for a moment, I considered it, the version of me on that feed. Had no doubt in his voice. He knew who he was. He didn't flinch when the static pulsed. He didn't shake when he said, You're tired, let me take it from here. He sounded kind, and that scared me more than anything else. Because kindness is how you convince someone to lower their guard. Kindness is how the world gets rewritten. One quiet suggestion at a time. I unplugged the aux line. The feed kept going. Tore the wires out of the board. Still going. Until, finally, it stopped. Not with a crash. With a whisper. One last sentence. You've already stepped halfway through. And then the room went still. No hum. No tone. Just silence. I looked around and realized I was still broadcasting. But I wasn't alone. The air felt full. Like someone else had just finished speaking through my mouth and was now watching to see if I noticed. I haven't looked in the mirror since. I'm afraid I'll see a face that's already practiced my smile. The earth is aligned now, not the real one. Or maybe this is the real one. I don't know anymore. But the second earth, the one that's been growing in the sky, has reached its zenith. Perfect overhead. The tear between them, that shimmering seam I saw days ago, is no longer a seam. It's a doorway. I watched it open fully just before dawn. No sound, no tremor, just light bending in on itself. Like the sky inhaled and forgot to let go. The booth filled with that color again. The one that doesn't belong to our spectrum. The one you can feel inside your teeth. My shadow split in two. I stood up, and one half of me stayed seated. It's still there now, staring forward. Not moving. I think it's waiting for me to decide. The other me, the one in the sky, has stopped broadcasting. I can't hear his signal anymore. He spoke his last sentence 2 hours ago. We are better at being you. He meant it, and maybe he's right. This version of me, the one speaking now, is tired. Worn down to a voice, a rhythm, a single, thoughts stretched too thin across too many nights. but I still remember what it felt like to wonder. And that matters, doesn't it? Outside the booth, the world looks the same. Trees, sky, grass, but they shine wrong, as if reality is being rendered frame by frame now, and the rendering is late. People aren't gone, but I don't see them anymore. Not directly. I see echoes, man crossing the road twice in the same moment. A child playing with a balloon that doesn't cast a shadow. Time has thinned out here. The frequencies have folded, and I think this is how the shift happens. Not in violence, not in fire, but in consent. That quiet moment when you look at the reflection, and it asks for permission, and you say yes without knowing why. I still haven't looked in the mirror, but I can feel the other version of me on the other side. Breathing, waiting, broadcasting. I'm going to leave the mic on. I'm going to walk to the edge of the hill where I first saw the second Earth rise, and if I see myself walking toward me, I'll know it's time. This is WXRQ 91.7. Thank you for keeping me company. If you're still out there, I hope your sky is still your own, 'cause if you hear my voice tomorrow, I don't know which of us made it.